7:30. You're on record.
Okay, I would like to call to order this meeting of the Parsippany-Troy Hills Planning Board for Monday, May 5th, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. The announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given and that it is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 Exec of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Roll call, please.
Mr. Didich.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Hernandez. Yes. Mr. Mealy. Here.
Yes.
Mr. Meth.
Present.
Mr. Napolitano.
Here?
We also have our board planner, Ms. Winter, and our board attorney, Ms. Stein.
Okay. So I'd like to pledge allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And for the record, Mr. DiPiero is present.
Okay.
How are you?
All right. So first we have, so this meeting is open to the general public. Is there any member of the public wishing to bring any business for this board that is not on our agenda? If so, seeing none, let's move on. Correspondence. We have received correspondence from John Miller of Inglesino Taylor requesting application 24:524, 30 Homedale Road, Block 338, Lot 10, be carried to July 21st without further notice, and grants an extension of time for the board to act to July 31st, 2025. Talking to our board attorney, I'm thinking that I think that this application should have to renotice if they come back forward. I think this goes back to January, and enough time's passed that I think if they're going to come back, I think they should have to renotice. I don't know how the rest of the board feels. What do we do? Take a vote or?
Yeah, so this application was originally noticed for our January 6th meeting, I think, and we've granted the extensions several times now, just so originally for the applicant to change counsel, then to respond to the board professionals' letters, and now they're asking for this additional 2-month extension, but no other notice has gone out besides what we've said at the meeting. So if you want, you could say you get this one more chance without notice.
All right.
Or you could say you can adjourn it, but you have to renotice. Up to you.
Right. Okay.
Well, wait, they changed attorneys since they noticed?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That would have caused a delay. That was not their fault.
Yeah.
Now you have new attorneys that have had study, so it would cause another delay for new attorneys. So if they were just delaying for the sake of delaying, I would agree with you. But these are both delays that they kind of had no choice on. I'll give them one more.
Okay.
My opinion.
Anybody else have?
I'm just wondering what at the last sentence there, without further notice and grants extension of time for the board to act to July 31st? Wait, I mean, is that because we had a meeting that night on the 31st, or that's just?
No, so
due date?
what happens is, in the municipal land use law, as soon as an application is deemed complete, we have a certain amount of time to act on it, unless the applicant grants us an extension. So that's what that extension is. So for us, meaning that, and let's just say they started their application, if they didn't finish that night, trust me, before they left, they'd be giving us another extension. Because the threat is, if we haven't heard the whole case, we're going to vote no, because we haven't heard enough. So
it isn't like if it passes that July 31st and that it's approved?
No, what happens is
Okay.
they're extending the amount of time for us to act.
Gotcha.
So that's not an issue.
We don't want automatic approval.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right, then, I guess I'll withdraw my request to say that let's ask them for new notice. Should we take a vote on this?
Yep.
Okay, can I have a motion to carry this case with no further notice to July 21st?
I make a motion to grant the request.
All right.
Second, Natty Chen.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I think we got a unanimous voice vote, Nora. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, we're good. All right. So that means we do not, our first application on our agenda is not going to be heard because we just granted, moved it to the next meeting. Our next,
So I'll just
Sorry?
make the announcement that the application number 24:524 for 30 Homedale Road, Block 338, Lot 10, for minor subdivision with C variance relief and a soil moving permit for a two-lot subdivision will be carried to the board's July 21st, 2025 meeting without further notice.
okay, our next application is Brixmore, 3081 Route 46, Block 411, Lot 3.01. Statement for basis and preliminary investigation of area in need of redevelopment. Ms. Winter.
All right, so purpose of tonight's meeting is to determine whether or not the Morris Hill Study Area, also known as Brixmore or 3081 Route 46, or the Morris Hill Shopping Center, which is located across the way, meets statutory requirements to be determined an area in need of redevelopment. A preliminary investigation is essentially an existing conditions report. The study area is a single lot, with Block 411, Lot 31.1. It's a 19.18 acre parcel, commercial shopping center, which contains a movie theater, freestanding bank, and two multi-tenant retail buildings, associated parking lots, landscaping, and signage, and it's in the B1 Highway Commercial District. So there has been a steady decline in the occupancy of the shopping center over the last 5 years. The movie theater has been closed since 2020 and is in a state of disrepair. The shopping center has lost its anchor tenants and a few smaller shops remain. The current occupancy is just 14.6%. The decline in retail and movie theaters is not a problem unique to Parsippany. With the growth of online sales and streaming platforms, these industries have been hard hit and the pandemic accelerated their decline. On February 11th, I did a site visit. The vacancies are evident with empty storefronts and signs. I think we've all driven past and can see that. I went into the movie theater. Some of the pictures show there's spray painting, broken windows, and it's been boarded up to prevent further vandalism. Multiple points of entry for the weather and vermin, which can lead to further decay of the building as well as spread disease. When you're on the site, there's a sea of parking lots with minimal landscaping. The bank sits at the corners, highly visible, but the rest of the site is set back from the highway. Page 16 has an aerial view. You can see how far back the movie theater is set, as well as the inner corner of the two retail buildings. The current layout is outdated and inefficient. The lack of visibility makes those spaces less desirable for potential tenants. Their vacancy leaves the movie theater parking lot unused and unwatched. There are no eyes over there because there isn't a reason for anyone to be over there. During my visit, though, I saw several cars loitering as well as speeding through and around the movie theater. There's potential safety hazards. There's also the potential for illegal activities to occur in the vicinity. The redevelopment law provides for 8 different criterion to determine if an area qualifies as in need of redevelopment. The important thing to note is that a study area only has to meet one of these criteria to qualify. This one qualifies under 4. The first is criterion A, as discussed. The generality of the buildings, particularly the movie theater, are substandard, unsafe, unsanitary, dilapidated, and obsolescent. Criterion B, the discontinuance of the use of a building or buildings which were previously used for commercial purposes or significant vacancies of such buildings for at least 2 years. We've noted vacancies for at least 5 years. The study area also qualifies under criterion D, which builds on the previous criterion A. The shopping center is obsolescent in the current marketplace and shows faulty arrangement of design and obsolete layout. The increasing vacancies result in a lack of productive use and offer little public benefit. The combination of these factors are detrimental to the safety, health, morals, and welfare of the community. And finally, under criterion H, the study area is located in the metropolitan planning area of the state plan, the intention of which is to provide for much of the state's future redevelopment, revitalize cities and towns, promote growth in compact forms, stabilize older suburbs, redesign areas of sprawl, and protect the character of existing stable communities. While listing specific redevelopment activities for the study areas beyond the scope of this report, the redevelopment of this site may be expected to result in economic development for the townships and its taxpayers, which is consistent with smart group planning principles as embodied in the state plan. So, in conclusion, the study area qualifies under the local redevelopment and housing law under 4 of the 8 criteria. Therefore, I recommend that the planning board find as such and can recommend to the council that the Morris Hills study area be declared an area in need of redevelopment.
So just to remind the board of the process, if we would vote to agree with this, and then the next step would be to go to council to develop redevelopment criteria.
Right. Council would designate it an area in need of redevelopment. That would be the next step. After that's done, then a plan could be created for that area. And once the plan was created, it would come back here, it would go back to council, it would have to be approved, and not until those things happened would the developer come back and actually submit a site plan, which would also have to be approved.
Okay, can I entertain a motion so we can restart?
Can we have discussion first?
Oh, sorry, what? Oh, we have to.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question first?
Sure.
Is the McDonald's included in this?
No,
This is
No.
no, it's
separate?
its own separate lot.
Yes, okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Does this include all the shops that are occupied now?
Yes, it includes the whole lot. It doesn't necessarily mean that those shops will be gone.
Okay, so they could cut it in half or whatever they do.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Right, so the movie theater, the Marshalls, and is that Home Goods used to be there? So
Yes.
basically those 3?
Those are empty. There was a gym,
Yeah.
that's empty.
Right.
It's a lot of smaller shops. That one building that's kind of faces
Yeah,
perpendicular to,
Cheap Maggie's was over there, yeah.
yeah,
that, yes.
that's empty.
That's also included in this too?
Mhm.
My favorite burger place over there, I don't want to go, Habit Burger, so I'll make sure that just stays right there. Its own little building.
How about the bank? Is bank part of the?
The bank is part of it. It's on that site. Again, once we get to the redevelopment plan portion of this, there could be further discussions of what will
What
happen on
stage,
those
yeah.
sites, on that site.
My turn?
Yes.
Sure.
Sure.
I would like to dwell on the topics that are not within the realm of this planning board, if I may. There was an article in a magazine, a planning magazine, about 2 months ago. I talked about a massive project taking place in Parsippany with about 1,400 apartments and stores underneath. I cannot envision any other tract of land large enough to do what was in that article, except this tract of land right here. So I'm concerned about apartments being a part of that discussion. And not only that, but every time we do an area in need of redevelopment, we end up talking about pilots sometime down the line. And there's no way I would support a pilot if it's going to include apartments. So I just want to put that down for the record. I'm not going there. And I hope no one else on the planning board does either.
Is there any way of knowing?
It's outside of the
Anything
realm of
about-
this board.
Yeah, it is.
Right, so at this point, as Ms. Winter explained, we're just reviewing whether this property meets those criteria. Then any actual decision on what will be permitted, a permitted use on the property, will happen at the redevelopment plan stage, which we review for master plan consistency. Anything involving a pilot is done at the council level. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. I mean, I've heard, I didn't read anything in a magazine, but I've heard that the developer is interested in that. So that's for council.
And ultimately, the township makes the decision of how, what they want to allow on this property.
Yeah.
All right, I put in my 2 cents.
Thank you.
How about
Okay.
warehouses? I think
Oh,
either we are seeing warehouses or we are seeing apartments, so.
Well, that's not a site for warehouses,
Yeah,
really.
No, there's
I would
enough warehouses.
say that that would be one of the least likely spots to have
Yeah.
warehousing on a highway, on a commercial highway like that is.
Okay.
All right, anybody else? Any members of the public wish to comment on this? Basically our report of findings for, the investigation for area in need of redevelopment. Seeing none? Now I can understand vote. All right, would anybody like to make a motion to move forward with this, to accept this study?
Mr. Chairman, a motion to move forward with the study for the area in need of redevelopment at Morris Hills.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second. Hernandez?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, what do we want to do? Take a vote individually?
Yes, please. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
DePiero,
Reluctantly,
Hernandez,
Yes.
Mealy,
Yes.
Napolitano,
Yes.
Math.
Yes.
So when we talk about that.
Okay. Motion passes. We have no other business on our agenda. So with that the case, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
I can see the Yankee game.
Yes, you can.
All in favor? Aye. I think we're good. All right, thank you, Nora. Thank
I'll
you,
get a chance to
Marina. Thank you,
kiss
Christina.
my great-granddaughter
Thank you,
goodnight.
Peter. Take care.